Alright guys, so in this video, I'm going to be going over basically, in my opinion, the worst picks of the NFL draft. Now, I really don't think that there's any picks that are truly horrific to the point where, like, it's very head-scratching besides one pick, which we're literally going to go over right now, which is Michael Penix. But there is a little bit of some interesting picks, especially at the wide receiver position. I'm not going to go over every single pick because this video would be super long, but just some picks that made me wondering why, but especially this one. So, obviously, everyone knows about the Michael Penix pick. It's weird, right? Because you have a super old, injury-prone quarterback, right? And you have him basically trying to get developed under Kirk Cousins. And if you guys don't know, the contract with Kirk Cousins is, I believe, 4 years, $100 million. So it seems like the Falcons are going to have Kirk Cousins for maybe 4 years at the most, maybe 3. Maybe he retires earlier. Who knows? But let's say they do have him for 3 to 4 years. That's an extra 3 years that Michael Penix ages. And Michael Penix, after these 3-4 years, is going to be 26, 27 years old. So then you're going to be starting a very old quarterback. And who knows if he's even going to be good once you start him. So this is a very interesting pick. And I would have maybe tried to justify this pick if it was in maybe the 3rd, 4th round for the Falcons. But the fact that the Falcons drafted him in the top 10 is actually insane. I was thinking the Falcons were going to go with Dallas Turner, in my opinion, the best edge rusher in this class with Leatu Latu, but they decided to go with a position that they don't need at all, basically. They do not need it. And it's very weird. I'm just really pissed off that the Falcons did this because I'm rooting for the Falcons. I want them to do good in real life, but when they're making these dumb picks, it just makes me wondering, well, why? Why are these people doing this? I still cannot justify this pick at all, and hopefully he ends up being good, but picking him in the top 10 just doesn't make sense. He should have gone to a team that actually needs a quarterback, like the Raiders, because they actually don't have a quarterback. Meanwhile, the Falcons actually do have a quarterback. And the next pick that I'm going to be going over is Ricky Pearsall. So, Ricky Pearsall, I'm not saying that he's bad, because he was actually very solid at Florida, especially in his most recent year. Last year, he was really good at Florida. The past couple years, he was kind of mid with Anthony Richardson at QB. But last year, he really broke out. We all know that crazy catch that he had is definitely one of the craziest catches that I've ever seen. Maybe the craziest catch that I've actually ever seen. Absolutely insane catch. But in terms of his college career, he was very solid at Florida this past season, which, moved him up in the rankings. But for him to be a first-round pick is not the craziest thing ever. It's the fact that he got picked up when there's other guys on the board like Adonai Mitchell, Keon Coleman, Ladd McConkey. It's just kind of weird, right? And the fact that the Niners drafted a wide receiver is also kind of weird because if you look at the Niners roster, they don't really have that many holes, but you would think that they wouldn't draft a wide receiver because they already have Deebo Samuel, they already have Brandon Ayuk, and then they already have a bunch of receiving options like Christian McCaffrey. They have George Kittle, so it was weird that they even took a wide receiver, and the fact that they took not even the best wide receiver available, in my opinion, is just absolutely insane. I don't know. They should have, maybe picked Keon Coleman, maybe Adonai Mitchell, maybe even Ladd McConkey. I mean, those are 3 players that are just better than Ricky Pearsall. I don't get it. I really don't get it for the Niners. This weird pick. And, yeah, the next pick is another wide receiver. The Panthers taking Xavier Legette. This is another wide receiver where it's just like the Panthers could have gone 3 other guys. They could have gone Ladd McConkey, which in my opinion was way better than Xavier Legette. And especially if you look at Xavier Legette's stats in college, they were really not that good. It's just he looks like DK Metcalf with his build and how he plays. His route tree was super limited in South Carolina. He only really practiced a couple routes if you watch his highlights. He really didn't do much in college, and it's just that he's a freak athlete, but that's pretty much it. Like I said, Ladd McConkey you could have gone. You could have gone Keon Coleman, which is taller and maybe more explosive than Xavier Legette. You could have gone maybe even Malachi Corley. I still would have taken Malachi Corley over Xavier Legette. You could have even gone, obviously, my boy A.D. Mitchell from Texas. I mean, there's a bunch of different wide receivers that the Carolina Panthers could have chose besides Xavier Legette. Don't understand it, but, the Panthers are doing their best. They're trying to get as much help with Bryce Young as possible, which is good. I want Bryce Young to succeed, but it just wasn't the best wide receiver available in my opinion. I would have even taken Ricky Pearsall over Xavier Legette, but in this scenario, Ricky Pearsall was already off the board. The Panthers did say before the draft that they were going to get Xavier Legette at the 33rd pick, and then Xavier Legette said that out loud for some reason, which he shouldn't have said, and then that ended up making the Panthers move up to secure their guy. And then the next position is Jaylen Wright. Now, nothing wrong with Jaylen Wright. I actually really liked him, especially when I was watching him in college at Tennessee. Super explosive. When you watch his highlights, he is fast as hell. But it's not even just about him in college. When you look at him in the combine, he was very well at the combine as well. The only problem is that the Dolphins selected him. And, you know, Jaylen Wright is a really good running back, and I think he can do pretty solid in the NFL. They did get him in the 4th round, so I don't think this is the worst pick ever. But if you look at the positional need on the Dolphins, I don't think that the Dolphins really needed a running back like that. They already have Raheem Mostert. They already have Devon Achane. So I really don't get this pick by the Dolphins. I guess they're assuming once Mostert retires or just falls off a cliff because he's getting there, he's super old at this point, then maybe they'll have Devon Achane and Jaylen Wright in the backfield to kind of use it as a two-head monster. But even then, they don't complement each other at all. Usually you want to get that fast guy and then that power back. These are both, Achane and Wright, the same types of running backs. They're both super agile and speedsters, and if you want to build a good running back, or you need to have players that complement each other, and this is not it. So now the Dolphins, I think they have like 4 guys right now. They have Jaylen Wright, Chris Brooks, Achane, and then now they have Raheem Mostert. So it's just really weird. I don't think the Dolphins should have even drafted a running back at all. And if you do draft it in the 7th round, you really do not need a running back. You need O-line help, and you need defensive help. This was not the best choice, but Jaylen Wright is a good player. Then the last guy that I'm going to be going over in this video is Jaylen Pul. Now, in college, Jaylen Pul was, obviously, he was very solid, especially, you know, in those big games for Washington, especially when they made the playoffs against Texas and so forth. But it's just the fact that the Patriots took Jaylen Pul over some other guys like Adonai Mitchell and Malachi Corley. Now, I believe at this point, Keon Coleman is off the board, and I think Ladd McConkey is off the board. So the 2 other guys that they could have potentially gone with would have been Malachi Corley and Adonai Mitchell. And, you know, Jaylen Pul is going to be a good addition for the Patriots, no doubt about that. It's just the fact that they took Jaylen Pul over Adonai Mitchell and Malachi Corley is very, very interesting because, you know, if you look at Adonai Mitchell's tape in college, he was very good, very explosive. He didn't produce the most amount of stats in college, but that's mainly because of how many times he got targeted a game. And I think the main reason why Adonai Mitchell fell is because he said during the combine, which was the dumbest thing of all time, I don't put full effort in every play. I put 80% on every play. And you just can't say that. You got to say that you put your heart into every single play, and he just didn't say that. So that's probably one of the main reasons why he kind of fell a little bit. But Jaylen Pul, nothing really wrong with Jaylen Pul. It's just the fact that they took him over some other guys that I would have potentially, you know, maybe grabbed ahead of Jaylen Pul. But he's definitely better than Jalen McMillan, who is another Washington guy that also got drafted. So I'm glad Jaylen Pul got drafted before Jalen McMillan, but it's just the positional need for the Patriots is there, which is good, right? The Patriots need a wide receiver, so they were going to get a wide receiver regardless. It's just the player that they chose was a little bit of a reach, in my opinion. Hope you guys did enjoy this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe channel if you guys already haven't, and I'll see you guys in the next video. I definitely have a lot more videos coming out, you know, going over different opinions on the NFL draft. So hopefully you guys don't freaking flame me in the comments for some reason, because I know you guys did that in my last video for some reason, which does not make any sense. But anyways, I'll see you guys in the next video. I'll see you guys then. Bye.